So, you might be familiar with one of our videos we made in the past. How many goblins does it take to beat up a dragon? Well, it turned out it was actually quite a bit. But now we're gonna be seeing what the oldest dragon type is capable of in D&D, an ancient dragon. We're also gonna be using the 2024 versions of both the Goblin Warriors and the dragon. Because let's be honest, nobody likes frightful presence, except if you're a masochist, of course. Here is both the stat sheets. Stick around till the end to see the total count. In the previous videos, people were like, "Oh, stop giving them weapons and different variations. You're being very unfair." Alright, you French bastards, you get your way for this one. We'll only be using Goblin Warriors. This encounter is taking place in a much larger lair, with heaps of gold and treasure and plenty of room for the dragon to take flight to evade melee. For the rules, there are exactly 0. These are the raw stat blocks and they don't need any buffs or nerfs. Because believe it or not, even ancient dragons don't really have any immunities or resistances to any damage other than fire. So, we are good to go. Enjoy. The fight started off with 50 goblins being deployed to be the sacrificial lambs for the first wave. We are all completely aware that these guys are just not making it home. Our dragon beat its opponents in initiative, so for our opening attack, we moved it up and sent a 6th level fireball to the middle of the entire first wave, and ended up roasting most of them into ash. What remains of the squad fired a volley of arrows, but with 22 AC and attacking at disadvantage, they have about this much of a chance to land a hit on the dragon. A cool thing about the dragon in the new version is that it can just like cast Scorching Ray as a legendary action, which we are gonna be doing for most of this combat. It flew to the nearly decimated goblins and did its standard rotation when its breath weapon is out. 2 rend attacks and a Scorching Ray. The top of the round brought us 50 fresh troops to pad the lair's now ashy tiles. This is where they actually got to shoot a volley from decent range, drawing first blood on their opponent. The dragon then sent his Scorching Rays before his actual turn, and then he just kindly backed the fuck up. And bad news for the goblins is that the breath weapon is online. He'll send the breath weapon straight into the middle of the second wave, like he's fucking blowing away birthday candles. Look at this damage, by the way. Well, after that display, the third wave was reluctant, but good thing I'm controlling their free will, so they entered the battlefield. When these goblins aren't shooting with disadvantage, they actually do pretty good damage in swarms like this, and ended up taking out quite a good chunk off the dragon. With a goblin shish kebab by a Scorching Ray, the breath weapon didn't recharge, so he rendered up some more goblins, stepping on them like ketchup packets. The dragon backed up in order to keep the goblins hitting with disadvantage. With now near 100 goblins on the battlefield, they advanced and launched their entire volley with disadvantage, hitting for a whopping 13 damage. They probably hit like 2 shots maybe. On the dragon's turn, we now have its breath weapon attack, and I took great care of angling for maximum damage to be inflicted on these greenskin interlopers. It will fry the goblins so badly they explode like wet firecrackers. The goblins, however, will not be deterred. Their morale inhibitors have been disabled, and they will push on. From the entire volley, they will deal 31 damage to the dragon. After the legendary action, we started sending Scorching Rays to the goblins from a safe distance. We now have the most active units on the battlefield as we ever did, with 3 battalions on the field, or what's left of this one. But worry not, for disadvantage had them miss nearly everything, only dealing a small portion of damage. With not much more room to fall back and its breath weapon failing to recharge, it thins some more goblins out, ripping out their arms to use for its own dental floss. It fell back and the goblins advanced, blocking out the natural light in the dungeon with their volley. Disadvantage is like such a pain in the ass, bro, by the way. They only dealt like 20 damage to it. After finishing off the 3 goblins remaining, the breath weapon does not recharge. It shot and made a meager 1 casualty of the goblins with the Scorching Ray and kept waiting for its breath weapon. But the assault was unrelenting. We now had around 200 goblins on the map. Some let loose regularly, others with disadvantage, and our dragon was starting to feel it as it got below half HP. It fried 2 more goblins and did not get its breath weapon back. And we thought with like no more room to fall back, we gotta charge it. And it charged and took out 3 more troops. Now, most of our goblins had enough room to properly let loose, and did a considerable amount of damage, porcupining the dragon for 184 damage. Desperately taking out 4 more goblins, the dragon fell back, clinging on to its most valuable piece of treasure, and still not being able to get its breath weapon back. The new wave came in, and it was close to 250 goblins making separate attack rolls. But sadly for the dragon, it was dealt 85 more damage to finally bring it down. And so, the dragon was felled, and the goblins could rest easy knowing they're set for life from the great sacrifices that their teammates gave. All in all, the dragon eliminated 209 goblins, with 450 goblins in total having to be deployed to take it down. A little quick behind the scenes if you're interested. I originally had the idea to do this with the 2014 version of the stat blocks before I went with the 2024 version, and I just want to show you the scenario I cooked up, because I'm probably not going to use it for another video. Here it is. And to balance out the frightful presence, I made the goblins exhibit Viet Cong tendencies, and get out of holes and trenches in order to at least be in range of the dragon before they could get feared. We may do this encounter in one of our live streams, who knows? Tune in and watch with us. But thank you for watching. If you want to see more of these videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And to whoever is still watching, have a good one.